cold and we don't get up out of our butt and do something. Some of us are Philadelphian Christians, and we're living for God, and we're taking the opportunity, and we believe in missions, and we believe that Jesus Christ is coming soon. But many of us around us today, we're Laodicean, and we don't really believe Jesus is coming. It doesn't really change the way we live. It doesn't color the decisions we make. And you see, I want to submit this to you, if anything else. If you believe that Jesus could come any single time, it would change the way you live. It would change the decisions you make. But most of us believe in this church, in this house, in this culture, that we're going to grow old and we're going to die, and in between we have to buy a house, raise family, plan for our retirement. We have to take care of everything that's going to happen in the future, because there's nothing in us that tells us Jesus Christ can possibly come. It's just something we believe, kind of, but it doesn't color the way we live. And you see, without this understanding, it's extremely hard to live out the Christian faith. You see, the Christian faith puts so much emphasis on the return of Jesus Christ. It's the day as Christians we look forward to. We're not looking up into the sky blindly wondering what's going to happen, but we're looking up into the sky waiting for Jesus Christ to return. As sure as Jesus Christ rose from the dead, He validated every promise made in the Old Testament. And Jesus promised this above everything else. Guys, listen, you saw me rise from the dead. I'm going up, but I will come back. Be ready for when I come. Don't let me find you chilling. Don't let me find you sleeping. Don't let me find you whoring around. Don't let me find you drunk, but let me find you busy in the field. Let me find you faithful. And you see, whenever this begins to color the way you live, it creates boundaries in your life. You wake up in the morning not thinking about 20 years from now and 30 years from now and the economic prospects of the future, but you wake up in the morning and you think, gee man, what if Jesus Christ comes today? What if He comes today? I want Him to find me faithful. You might not be in the mission field, but He wants to find you faithful at your workplace. He wants to find you faithful in your family. But you see, there's a darker side, a sharper side to this. When you preach about the return of Jesus Christ, when it's something you really believe in, it puts demands on your life. And that's probably one of the harder aspects to it. You know, when I was like around 20 or so, and I heard people preach about the return of Jesus Christ, it used to offend the crap out of me. Want to know why? Because I had a whole bunch of hopes and dreams. I had things I wanted to do. Not all of them were bad. I had wives I wanted to marry, and houses I wanted to live in, and jobs I wanted to work, and I wanted to, enjoy my life and get old and do all this kinds of adventurous stuff, and I wanted to see my children grow up, and I wanted to lie down like an old man on a bed, and after I died, I didn't care if Jesus came after that, but I just didn't want Jesus to interrupt my life. I didn't want Jesus to interrupt my plans. I didn't want Jesus to interrupt my happy family and all the things I was going to have on the earth. I didn't care if hell exploded after I left, but it was really selfish. I didn't want Jesus to screw with my plans. You see, as you get older, you get a little bit wiser. But I know a lot of people. When you talk about the return of Jesus Christ, it sounds like bad news. And that's the thinking we got to change. The return of Jesus Christ is not bad news. And if Jesus Christ screws with your little pathetic plans, that's not bad news either. And the bottom line is this: none of us as Christians have any guarantees in this world. We're not guaranteed a marriage. We're not guaranteed a family. We're not guaranteed a house. The culture says we're guaranteed this. But Jesus says this: come follow me. That's it. And He doesn't explain any further. And for a lot of us, we're like, what do you mean, come follow you? What are you talking about? He doesn't take the time. He says, listen, it's unconditional. Come, follow me. I am the way, I am the truth, I am the light. There's no other way to the Father besides me. Do you understand this? Now come, follow me. See, we're that generation that expects everything. We expect to follow Jesus, but to have everything along the way. We have our plan, we have our life set out before us, we know what we want, we have all the expectations that everybody else wants, and we think we're going to follow Jesus at the same time. And Jesus says, wait a minute. That's sort of like being a little hot and a little cold. Somewhere in the middle. Lukewarm. And that's why this sounds so hard to us. Because we come from the church era where Jesus Christ costs us nothing. He's not supposed to cost us anything. He's just supposed to bless us, take care of us, make us happy, and then we go to heaven at the end. And this is why it's such a hard era to preach the gospel in. It's such a hard era to actually live out Christianity in. It's because Jesus begins to screw with the things that we believe were guaranteed for us. But we got to get back to the basic point. Our plans are not the greatest thing in the future. You know what the greatest thing in the future is? It's hope. You see, you could live without a lot of things. You could live without water for a set amount of days. You could live without food for enough days. But you can live without hope for 0 days. As soon as you lose hope, your life is over. And the coming of Jesus Christ gives Christians this, a hope that the world can't understand. It says that one day, guys, poverty will no longer exist in the world. We'll never solve poverty, but Jesus Christ will. It says that one day death will not exist in this world. We'll never solve death, but Jesus Christ will. That one day equality will not exist in this world. One day incest will not exist in this world. One day rape will not exist in this world. One day abortion will not exist in this world. One day tragedies and suffering and pain and inhumanity that we see every day on the news will not exist in this world. Why? Because one day the clouds will be broken and the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah will descend, and He will make right everything that man has screwed up since the creation. And it sounds mythical, and to many it sounds pathetic. But to Christians, this is the hope of what we believe. You see, many of us, we've put our whole faith in the resurrection. And that's what we believe. We believe Jesus Christ rose from the dead. And you see, that's where we identify with Christianity. But you see, that's half of the message. The other half of the message is this: that just as Jesus Christ rose from the dead, He went into that grave, He rose from the dead, hell couldn't stop Him because heaven pulled Him out, that Jesus Christ on an undisclosed day, at an undisclosed time, sometime really soon, will come again. And He will step into the pages of history, and He will radically change every single thing we've committed our life and our society to. And as Christians, that's worth living for. See, if we don't have a second return of Jesus Christ, we don't have an end to the map. In fact, we don't even have a map at all. We're just driving around and we're lost. But you see, like somebody wise really said, if you know how long something is going to take, you can endure it till the end. Here's the interesting part. As you get older, it should become clearer. For me, I know exactly when Jesus Christ is going to come. I can tell you. For me, Jesus Christ will come in the next 50 years. Why? Because I'm getting older every single day. For some of you, I can give you guarantees. Jesus Christ will come in the next 70 years. Jesus Christ will come in the next 80 years. I guarantee it. Maybe Jonah will live to see 90 years. But here's the point. Whether Jesus Christ comes in the sky or we die, He's coming. He's coming. And it could happen at any time. We could step out of here, walk in front of a bus, and Jesus Christ will come today. It can happen at any time. There's no guarantees. And you see, when we wake up thinking about that, and when we wake up living like that, it begins to change the way we prioritize things. It really does. It begins to change the way we make choices. It begins to change the way we buy and sell. It begins to change the way we spend money. It begins to change the way we invest ourselves. It begins to change the way we get into relationships or get out of relationships. Because we know at any time, Jesus Christ could step out of the pages of history and stand right before us. What type of church do you want to be? What type of individual do you want to be? I hope the Church of Philadelphia is the one that inspires us. That we want to be that open door set of people. That we want to be that set of people that are willing to go through the door, that we're willing to take the advantages that Jesus puts before us. I hope that we're inspired by the second coming of Jesus Christ. I hope we have a holistic understanding of Jesus' message, saying, listen, I was prophesied in the Old Testament. I came in the New Testament, but my revelation is soon to come. And then the story will be complete. An end to the greatest story ever told. Where do you find yourself in this story? Where? You know, the ironic thing is, the world is filled with like these really weird, unemployed type of overweight, middle-aged men.